So the tension being ramped up here in Argentina. Here is the starting grid. Brad Binder in pole for the first time. Ahead of Romano Fenati and Jorge Navarro. Buliga, Mir and Bastianini on that second row. Pawi, Antonelli, the race winner in Qatar, and Fabio Quartararo complete your third row of the grid. Row 4 headed by Livio Loy, Hiroki Ono and Juanfran Guevara. Canet, Cornfile and Andrea Migno on row 5. Ertl, Norodin and Rodrigo on row 6. Philip Ertl actually was a big faller in the warm-up this morning. Martin, Locatelli, Danilo row 7. Masbu, Jordan Antonio, Bagnaia on row 8. Maria Herrera, Bo Benschneider and Tatsuki Suzuki back down there on row 9. Then we've got John McPhee on the Peugeot in 28th, ahead of Darren Binder, Petrarca, and the 11th row completed by Spironelli, Karel Hanneke and Stefano Valtellini.
Have you ever seen as many tense faces down on the field, on the grid, as you see there? Dylan, I'm sure you're probably making your way off the grid now, but anything else to add?
Yes, Livio Loy at the moment is the only guy I can see on wet tyres. I'm almost at the back of the grid now, I've almost done the length. It looks like, yes, Livio Loy, the only man on wet tyres.
Well, that is a massive, massive gamble by Livio Loy when you think that there are 32 other riders who think he's made the wrong call.
Wow. Well, there you go. Livio Loy, who you could argue will be fighting for top 5, 6 in the championship this year. That is quite a gamble for Livio, like you said, rightly so. At Indianapolis last year, nothing really to fight for at that particular point. He could afford the gamble. Will it pay off? We're about to find out. Certainly from these opening shots, it doesn't look like wet tyres is the way forward.
Well, he said on the grid to Dylan, whatever decision we make, I'm sure it's going to be the right one. We're about to find out, because that is a massive, massive gamble by Livio Loy.
One thing is for sure is that with wet tyres, he will certainly gain a massive advantage in the early stages of this race. So you know, he'll need to try and build up that lead, but keep his tyres as cool as possible. The absolute opposite is the case for the rest of the field.
That's exactly what he's doing now. Look, Steve, he's on a completely different line to all the other riders coming down the back straight, just trying to keep those rain tyres as cool as he possibly can. Now, Livio Loy, in the first few laps, as Steve quite rightly points out, is going to be the fastest rider on those wet tyres. You can see just how, look how gingerly Romano Fenati took turn number 5, and sweeping right up the inside was Livio Loy, who looked like he was on a MotoGP bike there. That's the difference in terms of the grip. So Loy's tactic, it clearly is going to be to bolt at the front, get away while he can, while the track's still relatively damp, and then can he, as the track dries up and his grip goes away, has he got a big enough lead to try and manage it?
Exactly.
Also, guys, sorry, there are some dark clouds around, and remember, as we came to the grid, it did start spitting again ever so slightly. So there is, there is the chance that it might actually get a little bit wetter again. That's ultimately the gamble which they're taking.
Yeah, well, if it does rain again, like you just mentioned there, Dylan, then what a masterstroke that would be from Livio Loy.
Tell you what, I'd like to go and speak to whoever gives Livio Loy his weather forecast, because they're better than anybody else is out there in Argentina.
This is all about a handicap race then for Livio Loy. He's got to try and get himself the bigger lead as possible, which means taking a few risks himself in pushing, because those wet tyres might not feel the same as they did this morning when we went out in warm-up. Fascinating stuff then here in Argentina. It's round 2 of the MotoGP World Championship. Round 2 for Moto3. Of course, we've got so much drama still to come this afternoon. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Moto2, MotoGP, I'm confused even before it started. But that'll be coming up later on. Now we focus on this race. Brad Binder there on pole, looking for his first race victory in this class. We understand everyone's on slicks bar Livio Loy. Look, Valentino Rossi's looking at all the tyres there. Who's on what?
And the only man who's actually starting on a dry patch on the front row is Romano Fenati.
There we go. Well, that is interesting, actually. A little bit of a dry patch there then for Fenati. There's the dry tyres inside for Brad Binder. The red flag being wheeled off at the front. Look to the lights, the top left corner. As soon as they go out, we are go. And away we go from the line. Good start there from Romano Fenati. Maybe that dry patch did help. The number 5 rider goes up the inside immediately of Brad Binder. Down into turn 1. Livio Loy diving up the inside of everyone, but it's Fenati with a whole shot.
Yeah, Livio Loy, they're already up to 4th place almost. Pawi ambitious around the outside. He gives a little tap to Romano Fenati, does Pawi. There is Livio Loy using those wet tyres to full advantage. Jorge Navarro didn't get a great launch off the line, but he's already recovered up by Fenati through turn number 2. It's Brad Binder that leads the way. No, sorry, Pawi's got the lead. with Livio Loy now chasing him down.
Pawi's absolutely on a charge here, the young Malaysian rider who was quickest in warm-up this morning, but here comes Livio Loy on the back straight here. Livio Loy is eating into Pawi's time. I'm presuming Pawi has gone for dries. We thought that everyone had.
He is on slicks, I can confirm that.
Well, he's certainly fearless. He leads then.
There's nothing wrong with the courage or bravery and skill of Pawi as the chasing pack bunch up into this tricky turn number 5. There's a bit of bumping and barging there. The Leopard Racing Honda trio, you can see them coming through. There is Brad Binder taking it very cautiously through this long sweeping turn number 6 for the first time. Pawi and Loy, they're already over 2 seconds clear of that battle for third place.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from there. And Adam Norridin, another Malaysian rider, flying through the pack at the moment. He made up 3 or 4 places in one corner a moment ago. Look at the wet patches here. This will benefit Livio Loy, but Pawi on slicks. How is this even possible? He is charging away out front here with Livio Loy in second place, and then that big gap back to third.
Pawi was quickest in the morning warm-up this morning and looking in superb form in that wet session. He's really got the bit between his teeth at the moment in the early part of this race. Livio Loy, there is the rest of the field. That's how far these top 2 have already gapped the chasing group. Livio Loy, the only rider in the field on the wet tyres. He would be shocked by the performance of Pawi on those slicks, Steve.
Well, the thing is as well, Pawi, by charging so quickly out front, will be getting a bit more heat into his slick tyres, which will only benefit him over the next few laps. This could be a massive advantage for the Malaysian rider. We go across the line. They've got 6 seconds over the rest of the field, and Norridin's up to third.
Pawi can't be on slicks. There's no way he's on slicks.
Guys, I've just spoken with the team. I've just spoken with his crew chief, Sergi. He said, yes, he is on slicks.
Wow, that's amazing, because if he's on slicks, he's just on a 2:04.4. The next best rider on slick tyres is 6.3 seconds behind him.
Well, I think he's got a lion on the back of his leathers, Pawi, and he's certainly got the heart of one, because he's absolutely storming. There's Adam Norridin, another young Malaysian rider who doesn't really mind these in-between conditions. He's up into third, the rookie, then Navarro, Martin, Ono, Locatelli, Binder, Quattararo and Canet.
I mean, the job that Pawi's doing here, you just have to stand back and admire it, because it's truly, truly phenomenal. We've got some of the best Moto3 riders in the world on the same tyres as the Malaysian teenager, and they are 6 to 8 seconds off his pace. Quite incredible.
Good move there from one of the Leopard Racing riders. That looks like Andrea Locatelli. And away we go there. Martin just following. And there's Brad Binder a couple of places further behind.
I think I just caught a glimpse at the top of the screen there, Steve. Possibly the rain flag being waved.
I think I saw the same thing, the white flag there with the red cross, so maybe there are a few spits of rain around this circuit. You'll soon know about it with the majority of the field on slicks.
And the man will be pretty happy to see those flags. Will be Livio Loy.
Guys, there is, of course, one possibility is that you can have dry and wet settings on the bike. Think of the bike as well. You can have a bike that's a bit half-half, where you run with slicks, but a slightly softer bike to sort of suit these wetter conditions. I spoke with Tom Jojic from KTM, and I mean, he said that that they would certainly go out on full dry setting, because because once it dries up, then you just gain so much more speed. So I don't want to take anything away from Pawi, but let's bear in mind, of course, different bike setups can also play a little bit into this.
But Pawi has just come over the line. He's done a 2:01.1, 2 seconds quicker than Livio Loy in second place. We'll pick up some of the top riders in this field, the likes of Finati, Bastianini and Antonelli, to see what their pace is. They're still 4 seconds, 5 seconds behind the lap times of Pawi. He's got incredible feel for the conditions, Steve.
It's a good point what Dylan makes there. You can obviously set that bike up, and we'll soon know, because if it does get a lot drier and Pawi starts to lose time, then that would maybe suggest that he has got slightly softer settings on board his bike. But either way, look at this. Unbelievable. I bet Livio Loy cannot even believe it here. He'll be closing in. He'll probably be able to see that he's running slicks. That is not a circuit at the moment necessarily that you'd want to be running wet tyres on. But you certainly wouldn't want to be going as quick as Pawi is on slicks. Look at him here. Number 89, it is that leads. 17-year-old Asia Dream Cup champion in 2014, 6th overall in the CEV Repsol Junior World Championship last year, and he's got so much clear air in front of him. It's unbelievable. There's Locatelli. Locatelli at the moment is in 4th place, all just running slightly wide there.
Yeah, coming under attack from Aaron Canet. Aaron Canet fell heavily in qualifying yesterday down at turn number 5. He's having a good ride so far in 6th place. But Pawi, it's just absolutely sensational. I mean, you look at the likes of Nicolo Antonelli, who's good in these conditions, the race winner in Qatar. Antonelli, after 2 laps, is 16.5 seconds behind Pawi, and he's struggling to lap within 6 seconds of the Malaysian.
We should mention about Adam Noureddin here as well, because he's broken free of this pack here, and he's lonely in third, and he's closing. 17-year-old Malaysian yet again, but not as much experience and not as good results in the past as Pawi. So this would be some result for Noureddin if he could keep it up. Further back there, is Navarro, Binder, Quartararo and Mir in 11th.
2 Malaysians on the podium at the moment. The fans in Southeast Asia will be going absolutely crazy. This was what we saw in the morning warm-up. His team were just warning him, calm down, play it, keep it cool. He doesn't look like making a mistake. The thing looks like it's on absolute rails. He looks so confident, so relaxed, so assured. How much more life has Livio Loy got in those wet weather tyres? Because Pawi already 3 seconds a lap quicker. There is Noureddin, who's in a pretty comfortable third place now on his own. He's broken away from that group involving Canet, Locatelli, Martin, Navarro, Hiroki Ono and the poleman Brad Binder in 9th.
It's fair to say that Livio Loy's tyres are not faring too well at the moment. Unless it rains again, at the moment, he is far from being even the second quickest rider out on the field at the moment. Further down, Bastianini down in 19th, Buliga 21st, then Bagnaia, Ben Schneider down in 26th place. Fascinating race unfolding here then. 18 laps to go, still a long time left in this race, but it's a 7-second lead for 17-year-old Malaysian Pawi. Here he is, number 89, and another fastest lap.
Yeah, we just briefly caught a glimpse there of that battle between Fenati, Enea Bastianini and Nicola Buliga. We thought that would be a battle at the front where this young man is, but that's a battle way down the order for 18th place. Pawi, well, he's almost in a different postcode. He's so far ahead of these guys. A bit of a moment there. That was the first real time we've seen Pawi get a little bit out of shape as he got on the gas coming through this turn number 7. There is Livio Loy, who'll just be desperately looking for some wet patches on the track to keep those overheating wet tyres as cool as he possibly can.
Pawi's obviously got to aim for these really thin, dry lines as well, so concentration's got to be up. And even though he made a little mistake, he's actually extended his gap over Loy. It's now up to 8 seconds. Noureddin's a further 4.7 behind. Then Canet, Ono. There we see Martin, who's made it past Navarro. On board with Navarro now, and there is the Mahindra just in front of him.
Yeah, this is that battle for 4th place. It's being headed by Aaron Canet. Kudos to him because he's doing a great job up in 4th place. Pawi's over the line again, another low 1:59 from the Honda Team Asia rider. He's blitzing away from this field. He's 8.6 seconds clear now of Livio Loy. Loy's got a 4.5 second advantage over Adam Noureddin, but Noureddin's about a second quicker than Livio Loy, so you're thinking another 3 or 4 laps if conditions stay the same. Noureddin will be able to fairly comfortably reel in Livio Loy. It's Hiroki Ono there. What a day for Honda Team Asia. Hiroki Ono's come all the way up from, well, 11th on the grid. To be fair to me, he started pretty well, but he's already picked up now inside that top 5.
The wisest rider in this pack so far is Brad Binder. He's just at the back of it. He's not doing anything too silly. He'll probably know that other than Navarro, some of those riders are not going to feature long-term in the championship, and certainly not the 2 that are rushing away. There's no need to make any silly mistakes here in the early stages of this race, so keep an eye on Binder as this race progresses, because the vast majority of the top 5 or 6 here have got absolutely nothing to lose.
And there you can see, clear as daylight, Pawi out on those slick tyres. Oh, they're already looking very, very anxious and nervous. Right in the middle of your picture there was Honda Team Asia team boss Tadayuki Okada. He's been there, done it and got the T-shirt in terms of winning Grand Prix. In fact, he's a 500cc Grand Prix winner, Tadayuki Okada. Vast experience, former HRC factory rider with the likes of Mick Doohan in the Repsol Honda team. So Tadayuki Okada also looking on at watching his second rider, Hiroki Ono, put up a real good fight for the podium. What a day it could be for Honda Team Asia. 2 of their riders on the podium.
Yeah, good stuff. Here's Livio Loy then. He's in second place. He's 11 seconds adrift of Pawi, but at the moment he is still ahead of Noureddin in the battle for 3rd. Then that big group, Navarro, Canet, Ono, Martin, Locatelli and Brad Binder. The other gaggle of riders being led by Guevara is closing in on the rest of the pack. McPhee is actually just tucked in behind, then Joan Mir, Cornfile and Quartararo.
I suppose the only thing that might be helping Livio Loy out slightly here, Steve, is the fact that he's so light. You know, he's not going to be putting a pressure through those tyres as some of the heavier riders would do, so he won't be perhaps overheating them than some of the heavier riders. So Livio Loy, he might Well, he's been closed down actually quite quickly, isn't he, by Adam Norridin. It's come down by over a second again on that previous lap. But those tyres perhaps not deteriorating with Livio Loy on board, perhaps as much as the likes of, say, Bo Benschneider or Nicola Buliga, two of the tallest and heaviest riders in the grid.
Jorge Navarro's broken free of the pack and past his teammate Aaron Canet, and now closes in on Adam Norridin in third place. There he is, another of the Malaysian riders. Impressive stuff here. His teammate Jakob Kornfeil a bit further back in 13th place, but ahead of Quartararo and the Qatar race winner Nico Antonelli, who's at the moment just in 15th place.
Cool, I'd love to be in a downtown Kuala Lumpur bar now watching this race with Pawi leading the way and Norridin in third place. The atmosphere with the Malaysian fans must be absolutely electric in KL. They probably can't believe their eyes. We can't here in the commentary box. It's been a sensational opening 5 laps to this Moto3 race.
Here's Jorge Navarro then, probably of the, let's have a look, the top 8 riders. This is the rider with the most form, with the most experience, and is probably, on paper, the better rider of the group. He's now starting to close in. Brad Binder there making a move up the inside of Locatelli. Binder on the Red Bull KTM IO machine has gone up underneath Locatelli, and Martin capitalises on that as well. He goes past then the Mahindra rider also, so Locatelli loses a couple of places in 2 corners.
When you look at the other guys out there on slick stick, like Navarro, Canet, Ono, Martin, in that group for battling for the podium, they're doing sort of 201s, 202s. That seems to be the pace that most of the riders are comfortable running at. Pawi is doing 158s for fun. 3 or 4 seconds quicker than those guys.
And he's been told to back off. I don't know if this is him backing off or not. It doesn't look like it at the moment. We see there Canet ahead of Hiroki Ono. Dylan.
Yeah, I think one of the dangers of backing off is, of course, one of the reasons he can have so much speed is because he's pushing. It's kind of one of those where, you know, his speed comes as a result of him pushing so hard, getting heat into those tyres, maintaining that heat, and that's where he gets that extra grip from. That's what the other guys aren't willing to do. If he backs off, he needs to make sure he doesn't back off too much, because ultimately if he does that, arguably riding more cautiously could cause the tyres to cool down too much, and then he wouldn't have as much grip as he does right now.
Yeah, good point there, Dylan. And, well, Pawi, I don't think is in the mood to slow down at any point anyway. Looking at a replay here of the slick tyres being used there by Norridin with a wet patch on.
We're about to get a Malaysian 1-2 in this Moto3 race, because Norridin is really reeling in Livio Loy. Livio Loy starting to really suffer on this drying track on those full wet tyres. As we speak, Norridin's made his move. Livio Loy tries to fight back in the braking zone down at that turn 5. Loy up the inside. Norridin won't find a way through on the inside, will he? No. Has he got the bit of extra grip, though, coming out of turn number 5? Not quite, though. He's all over the back wheel, though, of Livio Loy. Navarro, Canet, Ono, Binder, Martin, Locatelli. They're all going to be closing down Livio Loy. He's going to be a bit of a sitting duck if he's not careful.
Livio Loy here trying to use a bit of experience to make it hard for the rookie Norridin. Navarro's the one they've got to watch out for, though. The Estrella Galicia rider, number 9, closing in on him, and is the second fastest rider on the circuit at the moment. He's the first of the rest that has gone under the 2-minute bracket. Here's Norridin then trying desperately to find a way past.
Yeah, you've got to be careful if you're the likes of Norridin and Navarro coming up, because if you're trying to pass Livio Loy and you have to run off onto a wet part of the track on the slick tyres, it's easy to make a mistake. So you've got to make sure, if you're going to move up the inside of Livio Loy, you can get it all right, because it could go wrong pretty quickly. Norridin's coming from a long way back. Beautiful move up the inside at turn 30. You can just see there Livio Loy. There's a real dry part of the track in that braking zone. He just had no front end grip whatsoever. Navarro and Norridin, they both came from a long way back. Great example there of just how Livio Loy is struggling with that front wet tyre, because Norridin and Navarro passed him like he wasn't even there, Steve.
Take a moment to embrace the fact that we have 2 Malaysians in first and second place, because I don't think it's going to be that way for very long as Canet gets his nose chopped off. Navarro is the second fastest rider still on the circuit, and is going to try and find a way past the less experienced Adam Norridin here. Navarro, of course, didn't have a pleasant time out in Qatar. He wants points, he needs points, and he needs to try and get himself on the podium here in Argentina. And there was another rain flag waving there.
Yeah, great spot there, Steve, as they came onto that back straight.
Look
as
at that.
Navarro just hammers in the slipstream by Adam Norridin. But he's got total clear track in front of him, has Jorge Navarro, because 20 seconds up the road, is Khairul Idham Pawi. We've never had a Malaysian Grand Prix winner. Fahmi Khairul Idham came so close at the Sepang race in 2012. There we can see now quite clearly the rain flag being waved. Now, is this going to play right back into the hands of Livio Loy?
The only thing I'll say about that with Livio Loy is at the moment he might be pushing too hard, desperately to defend positions. He'd be better off trying to keep those tyres as nice as possible, because if it does rain, he's going to need every single inch of grip that's left in those wets.
Yeah, he might have already chewed up those wet tyres a bit too much. They'll be starting to turn to bubblegum now, won't they? Riding on marbles for Livio Loy. There is the race leader, Khairul Idham Pawi. As we said, he stands, what, 13 and a bit laps away from history in the World Championship. He's over the line to complete lap number 8. Another 1:58 lap from the number 89. Second place, we think, will be Jorge Navarro. It is just ahead of Adam Noureddin, but Navarro is almost 21 seconds back of the race leader. What's been so impressive, these are really, really treacherous conditions. You can just see how small that dry racing line is through the final corner. Pawi, bar one little mistake when he got on the gas slightly too early in lap number 7, he's just looked absolutely at ease, completely confident, not getting flustered by the fact that he's leading a Grand Prix for the first time. He looks like he's been there for 20 years.
Brad Binder here making progress. He's bided his time and now he's made a move or two and he's flowing out and he's catching. He's going to break away from this pack. This is wise riding from the South African. There's Martin up the inside of Livio Loy, and Livio Loy is now getting beaten up good and proper. He's falling like a stone as Aaron Canet looks to try and gobble him up.
Livio Loy now needs those grey clouds circling over the Termasteria Hondo to dump a load of rain. There's John McPhee, who's come up from, well, outside of the top 20, 28th place on the grid for John McPhee. And he's done a great job, of course. He was strong in these sort of mixed conditions in Indianapolis when he scored his first ever World Championship podium. It's getting very, very tight down at that turn number 5. Canet and Ono now have swept past Livio Loy.
I recall early on in his career, John McPhee in a mixed conditions race in Brno being very, very strong there. And McPhee here just trying to do the job here for his Peugeot team and get himself a decent result, which would certainly boost the confidence. There's Canet going up the inside of Hiroki Ono. Livio Loy desperately trying to hang on to some places, but up the inside goes John McPhee and a couple of Leopard bikes also. The lead is 20 seconds now for Pawi out front, still lapping in the 1:58 consistently. Brilliant stuff here from the Malaysian as he goes on to start lap number 10.
Guys, just speaking with the team, I asked them, look, did you give Khairul a wet setting with those slick tyres? They said no, complete dry setting on that bike, which makes it even more impressive what he's done.
On Friday, you could get odds of Khairul Idham Pawi to win this race of 100 to 1. It changed quite significantly after his impressive qualifying performance yesterday, but you are looking at some ride here from some talent.
Finally, we've seen Jorge Navarro and Adam Noureddin and a few of the group chasing second place. They've got on parity in terms of the lap time with Pawi. Pawi did a 1:58.619 last time around. Navarro was in the 1:58s and Noureddin in the 1:58s for the first time. So that second group, that battle for second place, they are just building up their confidence. Too little too late, though, because they're never going to close down a 20-second deficit on that young man there, Khairul Idham Pawi, unless he makes a real howler. You talked as well, Steve, about Brad Binder, the pole man. He's thinking about the bigger picture. He knows this is a long World Championship, and Brad Binder has just got himself up into 4th place. This is a real clever, mature ride by Binder.
Superb ride, and he's worked it all out. He's not doing anything too silly. His time will come, and I think he knows that. He doesn't need to try and move mountains at round 2 of 18 in the championship. But he's doing a fantastic job there in 4th, especially considering he's surrounded by riders that have 0 to lose. The only other rider in the top 10 at the moment who really will fight for the championship. You feel as Khairul Idham Pawi gets his first warning there out of the saddle for the Malaysian. The only other rider for Binder to worry about in the top 10 really is Navarro.
I don't know how Tadayuki Okada, in the middle of your picture there, can actually watch the screens. He's saying there, Taddy, please, please calm down.
There were people doing that for him once.
They were. Yeah, Taddy was a blindingly fast 500cc rider, but he was susceptible to the odd little unforced error, as Pawi is over the line.
Do you know, that was a fantastic shot that we just saw there of the pit man smiling. as he's holding out that pitbull. It must be such a fantastic feeling when you've got a young talent in your team that may not necessarily be someone that you're expecting to see be as good as and they're just smiling. They just can't believe what they're seeing. For the first time, Navarro in second has just posted a faster lap time than Pawi.
Oh, massive moment for Pawi.
He needs to settle down here, does the Malaysian. He needs to settle down. He's pushing a little too much. 11 laps to go, still a long time left in this race. He's got a 20-second lead.
Yeah, that was the first real big scare. We've seen a couple of twitches for Pawi on the rear, but this was a full out of the seat job. Here we go.
Oh, on a damp patch.
Yeah, just got the rear tyre on a damp patch. So that's a big warning sign there for Pawi. Just try and regain the composure, get back into his rhythm now. This is the battle for second place, raging some 20 seconds behind Pawi between Jorge Navarro and Adam Noureddin. Now, if Khairul Idham Pawi wins this Grand Prix, we don't go to the Malaysian Grand Prix in Sepang until October, but you might want to get a ticket fairly soon, because if these two boys, Noureddin and Pawi, finish on the podium together, tickets for that Malaysian Grand Prix will be selling out pretty quick.
Look how much Noureddin is learning. He got passed by Navarro and he's stuck with him, and he's learning so much from a rider that's been on the podium a few times already.
It was almost like, Steve, that Noureddin had got into his own pace and they needed somebody else just to come by him and go, right, OK, that's what I can actually now go to. And he's been able to latch on behind Jorge Navarro. As you rightly say, he's one of the fastest riders in this field. So now he's got a good reference. It's always difficult in these conditions as well, Steve, to judge the track conditions where you're the lead rider. That's why you have to say hats off to Pawi, because he's mastering it absolutely superbly.
Now, I know that Hafiz Sayyarin was, of course, on the podium in 2012, finished third, the Malaysian, but has there ever been a Malaysian winner of a Grand Prix?
Never. Fahmi Khairul was leading the Malaysian Moto3 race right to the final corner in 2012, and his teammate on the Red Bull KTM Ayo bike, Sandro Cortese, had a right good old lunge up the inside. Cortese won the race, won the World Championship, and 80,000 Malaysians, they were still going absolutely potty because they'd seen Fahmi Khairul almost win a Grand Prix. The same weekend, actually, that Fahmi Khairul had become the first Malaysian rider in history to set a pole position. But history beckons, certainly, for Khairul Idham Pawi. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race. He's getting warning signs all over the place. He's still keeping the throttle absolutely nailed.
I said he had a lion on the back of his levers. I just looked a minute ago. It's actually a tiger. Of course it would be. And he's got the eye of the tiger there. It was Nico Antonelli nearly throws it away. Nico needs to be careful. He is the World Championship leader at the moment, courtesy of that win back in Qatar a couple of weeks ago. But he might be getting a bit carried away. And there's poor old Livio Loy. It was a gamble, fair play, but unfortunately it's not paid off on this occasion. This is obviously a move from Antonelli on Livio Loy.
Just look at the difference in drive that Antonelli gets out of that turn number 3 onto the back straight with the slick tyres. But it all did almost end in tears for Antonelli. A few moments to go, big moment on the front end, back with the race leader, 10 laps to go.
Incredible scenes here. The Honda Team Asia squad just cannot believe it, and they are looking lap after lap. They just cannot wait for that checkered flag to come out. This is the battle for second. Number 9, Jorge Navarro, the Estrella Galicia rider, who up until now has got 4 podiums, not had a race win, but his end of 2015 was particularly strong. And look, rain on the screen there. Quite a bit of rain on the camera lens right around turns 9 and 10. Not enough at the moment for there to be any major concern, but it looked like there was more rain there than usual.
Well, I can confirm that down here in pit lane we have a bit of drizzle, but it's been the consistent drizzle that we've had throughout the race, so it might be very localised to that part of the track.
We'll tell you what, though, when Khairul Idham Pawi goes through that section of the circuit, he starts seeing those spots of rain on his visor, his heart is going to start fluttering big star, because he's got this race totally in his pocket. He's in complete control. He's riding absolutely beautifully. 20.7 seconds clear of this battle between Jorge Navarro and Adam Noureddin for second place.
I find it amazing, you know, this race, just absolutely mind-boggling. Adam Noureddin is not leaving Jorge Navarro at all. Look at that massive group of riders battling for 4th place. There's Jacob Kornfeil, Juan Franco Avara. There's the championship leader, or he was, up until today. That might change. There's Maria Herrera going through on Livio Loy and Fabio Quartararo. Of course, Livio Loy will have seen the rain. He'll be praying that it absolutely chucks down in the next 2 laps, because otherwise he's going to run out of time.
Yeah, in terms of the kind of World Championship contender, shall we say, Brad Binder's doing the best job of damage limitation so far. The South African is in 4th place as we look back to Romano Fenati. Fenati's way down in 21st. Nicola Buliga, 24th place. Pecco Bagnaia on the podium in Qatar in a very, very lonely 25th.
Interesting that Dylan mentioned earlier on that the Sky VR46 team, as we see Ben Schneider and Fenati, well, if you're going to pick your fights, that might not be the one to pick in the Moto3 field. Interesting that Dylan mentioned that they'd gone for the harder dry setups. It's not paying off for them at all here.
No, not at all. And Bastianini is in that battle as well, down in 22nd place. So this is going to be a good day for Brad Binder in terms of the championship. Nicolo Antonelli is in 13th place as Maria Herrera has picked off Livio Loy. So Livio Loy now is back in the final point scoring positions, and we know he's under big threat from Fabio Quartararo. So the gamble this time around so far hasn't paid off as Pawi, there's spots of rain falling around this Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. He's just slammed in the quickest lap of the race, a 1:57.6.
There's rain, he'll see it on his visor, and he's riding curbs as well. It's just unbelievable.
Well, at least now I can confirm that down in pit lane this drizzle has actually stopped for now, so hopefully that was just a little localised shower.
Can you imagine if we had a heart rate monitor on Tadej Okada right now?
Well, you have to say that whatever happens from here on in, Khairul Idham Pawi, whether there are rain flags out or not, has done an absolutely amazing job. And it started from yesterday in qualifying. He got a 3-place grid penalty for touring, courtesy of what happened the previous day on Friday. Went into qualifying, didn't really care about that, stuck in a really good dry time, so this is no fluke. Then this morning, in the pouring rain, managed to get himself a time continuously, like over a second quicker than anyone else, and now look at him.
Brilliant point, Steve. Yeah, you do forget, because he was quickest in the morning warm-up session and he's flying towards what will be a sensational victory. Actually, in the dry, he was just as competitive. He was 4th quickest on the grid without that grid penalty. He's way, way clear of Navarro and Norridine. The gap now up to almost 20. In fact, it has just gone over 22 seconds for the first time in this race. This is definitely a two-rider fight for second at the moment, because Brad Binder in 4th is 7.5 seconds behind the number 7 of Adam Norridine. You have to say he's doing a really good job. He's not let Jorge Navarro get away from him at all.
No, and he'd be wise just to sit there for now. If he can keep up with Jorge Navarro, there's no need to do anything too silly. You imagine coming into this championship as a rookie, 17-year-old, both of those Malaysian riders, 70. I don't know if there's a TV show called Malaysia's Got Talent, but we've got 2 contenders for you. Here's Locatelli. Yeah,
Locatelli and Aaron Canet actually have found a way through by Brad Binder. Pawi's over the line again, another low 1:58. You can see there, number 55, that's Andrea Locatelli with Aaron Canet. They've both picked off Brad Binder on that previous lap now, so the South African's been relegated back down to 6th place. He's got Hiroki Ono behind him there on the 76 Honda Team Asia. Teammates to the race leader, Pawi. So whether there was a mistake by Binder on that previous lap, we'll see what his lap time is when they come over the line.
7 laps to go. You're looking at the battle for second. Number 9, Jorge Navarro, the Estrella Galicia rider, coming under pressure here from Adam Norridine, who just goes in slightly wide. Has to push himself a bit wide in order not to run into Jorge Navarro. There's Brad Binder, then number 41, behind Aaron Canet, who is another of the rookies that's going very well here. Locatelli ahead of them.
I think Binder must have made a mistake, Steve, on that previous lap, because he was all of a sudden 1.3 seconds slower than Andrea Locatelli.
Incredible scenes here. You would have just never ever predicted this in a million Sundays, as they now make their way onto the back straight here in Argentina. You're not seeing the leader at the moment because he is gone. 22.8 seconds his lead now over Jorge Navarro here in 2nd place and Adam Norridine in 3rd.
Here is this great battle for 4th place, which Aaron Canet has now found himself at the front of, down in the braking zone for turn number 5. Then it's Locatelli, Brad Binder, Hiroki Ono, and Joan Mir, who's got himself settled into a really nice rhythm. Fabio Quartararo, the 3rd of the Leopard KTM trio, he's way back down the order in 15th. Livio Loy has just dropped outside of the points, but incredibly Loy has just put in his personal best lap of the race, a 2:01.7. Let's not forget he's on the rain tyres and he's lapping quicker now with, what, 15 laps on those tyres.
Lovely move there from Locatelli as he just goes up the inside of Aaron Canet. Dylan.
Well, what can happen is once you actually worn that profile down of the rain tyres a little bit more, then you don't have quite as much movement from that, if that makes sense. So you should be able to push a little bit more. Obviously not quite as much as a slick, but actually having them worn down a bit more can potentially pay off for a while. Whether that's going to last for the last laps, that's obviously tough to tell.
Joan Mir there just introducing himself to Brad Binder, barging him out of the way. Brad Binder says, no you don't, takes the place back again. Both Joan Mir, number 36, and Aaron Canet in this group, fighting all last year for the CEV Repsol Junior World Championship. They are handy riders.
I'll tell you what, Steve, this is a fantastic advert for that Junior World Championship. Pawi leading the race, Canet.
Norridin was in it as well.
Exactly. You know, all the top guys in this field have all come through that Spanish CEV system. Jorge Navarro, of course, was teammates to Fabio Quartararo a couple of years ago. So it just shows all the effort being put into the Junior World Championship to nurture and develop young talent from all over the world. Let's not forget, you know, Pawi's Malaysian.
It's the three championships that you look to here. It's the CEV Repsol Junior World Championship, it's the Red Bull Rookies, and it's the Asia Talent Cup that's recently come onto the scene. They are the three championships here that are responsible for what we are seeing on our screens right now, although we are -1 because Pawi's just a matter of 24 seconds ahead of them.
We've got to the point of the race now. We were 6 laps to go when he's got a 24-second lead. We're obviously impartial here in the commentary box, but we've got the point of the race where you sort of think, really kind of hope that he does it now. He's done all the hard work. It'd be so cruel for it to be taken away from him.
It's always great to see new faces on the top steps of the podium, but a rookie in his first full season, what a story that is at round 2 of the championship. Still a little way to go as yet. Locatelli here does not mind getting his gloves off, and Binder makes Aaron Canet stand up and welcomes him into the championship as well. Binder now has maybe thrown all caution to the wind and said, well, I've settled and now I've had enough.
Well, there was a small gap for Locatelli to get through in the braking zone for turn number 7, and a small gap for Brad Binder, and he didn't need a second invitation. Once again, that man there, Khairul Idham Pawi, the race leader, has come over the line and done the best lap of the race, a 1:57.387. 24 seconds he is now clear of that battle with Jorge Navarro and Adam Norridin. Actually, this will be a great 20 points for Jorge Navarro in terms of his early World Championship charge, because he was, well, a fairly disappointing 7th place in the opening round in Qatar. By his standards, the way he finished the 2015 season at Navarro, 7th place wasn't a flash result, but if he can pick up 20 points in these really, really tricky conditions, he will be absolutely delighted.
It just goes to show you how things can change so quickly in motorcycle racing. How he leads then from Navarro, Norridin, that's your top 3, then Binder, Locatelli, Canet, Ono, Mir, Martin, McPhee, top 10. Further down, still taking points at the moment, Guevara Antonelli, who's moved up to 12th now, Jakob Kornfeil, Fabio Quartararo and Maria Herrera. Livio Loy now outside the points in 16th, but he's ahead of Philip Ertel, Rodrigo, Buliger and Ben Schneider.
Yeah, Romano Finati and Enea Bastianini in 22nd and 23rd place. They've just set their personal best laps of the race, low 1:59. So Finati and Bastianini haven't been able to do a lap in the 1:58s in this race so far. This man here, Khairul Idham Pawi, he's reeling off 1:57s. Looks like he could do it all day long.
There he is, Khairul Idham Pawi. There you can... Is that a lion or is it a tiger? It's hard to pick out on the back of his leathers there. I'm trying to work it out. But either way, he's absolutely storming this. 3 of the riders that were fighting for a podium then in Qatar a couple of weeks ago are outside the top 20 as Khairul Idham Pawi goes across the line, and there's now 4 laps to go. 4 long laps to go if you're in the Honda Team Asia camp.
Oh dear, he's like Rossi style trailing his leg. Oh, dear me. I can barely watch the screen.
He almost tucks the front into turn 1, Khairul Idham Pawi, but he's got such a huge lead here. I can't imagine what the team must be thinking. Here's the battle for second. Khairul Idham Pawi's already flying through. Thumbs up from Navarro's squad. They are more than happy with second place. Norridin, what a ride this is from him as well. They're both rookies, Norridin and Khairul Idham Pawi, but Norridin far less experienced overall.
Best lap of the race has just come in from that number 36, Joan Mir, putting pressure on Brad Binder. Binder's in a little bit hot at the first corner, door open. Joan Mir says thank you very much, up into 4th place. Mir is the quickest man on the track here in Argentina. It's Hiroki Ono. Ooh, thought about a look up the inside of Locatelli at turn number 2. Just had the door shut on him.
Joan Mir, 18-year-old from the Balearics Leopard Racing KTM rider. He was up there, could have won that CEV Junior World Championship last year, but for a fall in Jerez with a couple of rounds to go. Binder, though, fighting back. They're now side by side, but Binder's got another Leopard rider to worry about as well, because Locatelli now comes up the inside, and look at Hiroki Ono, number 76. Oh, this is brilliant stuff, and Binder backing it in.
Cool, that was close between Binder and Joan Mir in the braking zone for turn number 5. Mir got in just a fraction too what. He just managed to squeeze the front brake enough just to avoid clipping the back of Binder. Binder audacious around the outside of Hiroki Ono going through turn number 6. This is a great battle for 4th place, being led by Locatelli.
Oh,
Whoa, that was really, really close. Thought he was going to wipe out Joan Mir. It's pushed Mir a little bit wide. Can it through?
This is brilliant stuff here. These riders aren't even fighting for a podium place. They're just fighting for 4th. But this is brilliant stuff here. Locatelli leading the group, and what a boost of confidence this would be for the young Italian who's moved over to this team.
Yeah, John McPhee and Jorge Martin have just been dropped by this group battling for 4th place, but it will still be a great top 10 for Scottish rider John McPhee on that Peugeot, the first top 10 for the Peugeot team in 2016. Khairul Idham Pawi is over the line. Of course, he completed lap number 18. Navarro and Noureddin just will not let Jorge Navarro go. He's just put in a personal best lap of the race as the Malaysian.
I cannot believe what we're seeing here. Pawi's continuing to lap in the 157s. Binder there looks like he's actually struggling for a bit of grip in the latter stage of this race. Further back there...
He's lapping Spirinelli now, isn't he,
yeah,
Pawi?
Unbelievable. Khairul Idham Pawi, easy does it, because obviously offline it's still a little bit damp, and the blue flag waving there as Lorenzo Petrarca has a look over his shoulder, and Pawi just nudges him wide. If someone would have said to you at the start of the weekend, Matt, there'll be somebody leading this race with 3 to go by nearly 30 seconds, your money would not have been on this 17-year-old Malaysian to be the rider doing it. Now there's Lorenzo Petrarca. Now this takes something else. A rider that's going quick is one thing, but learning your racecraft and picking off a few riders to lap is another, because he's having to go offline here, and he's going up the inside of Lorenzo Petrarca here. Matt Burt next to me is wincing as we watch this. Darren Binder's next. Darren there is gonna... Well, that won't be too much of a problem. Khairul makes light work of that one, and does Darren Binder know? Does Darren Binder know?
Oh, Navarro's down.
I think it's Canet. I think it's Canet.
Sorry, it is Canet. But what about Darren Binder and the race leader Khairul Idham Pawi, because Binder looked like he was about to charge up the inside of Pawi at the final corner.
That bike is in the middle of the circuit as well. Aaron Canet absolutely gutted. The rider is up and okay. Pulls the tail off in disgust. Pawi did get through, by the way, and crossed the line okay, but I don't think Darren Binder had any idea that it was the leader, because he's probably seen Pawi. He was racing Pawi in Qatar for like the oh my word, that's not a good place for a bike to be. Canet's bike then in an awkward place in the circuit.
Yeah, and the field's quite strung out as well, Steve, so it's going to be difficult for the marshals to get out there quickly to retrieve that bike. Joan Mir again, fastest man on the track last time around. He's there in 7th place. But here is the race leader, 2 laps to go. There are the marshals. They've managed to get out onto the track to retrieve Aaron Canet's crashed Estrella Galicia Honda. We're going to get a look at that.
Oh, he did it early on.
I think he's got onto the...
White line, gas, grass,
white line or on the curb already. There's a few damp patches still out there on the racing line. Real tough luck there for Aaron Canet, because he was having a great ride in that battle for 4th place. Our hearts were in our mouths when we saw Darren Binder attempting what looked like a move up the inside of Pawi at the final corner. I agree with what you're saying about Binder, Steve, but we could clearly see her in the lap. There were blue flags being waved, so really he should have been aware that the leading group, or certainly the race leader, was coming.
Here's an interesting dynamic as we come to the closing stages of this race. Adam Noureddin has been the shadow of Jorge Navarro now for some time. Does he pounce on the last lap, or does he say, this would be my first World Championship podium, I'll sit tight?
That's a real tricky one, isn't it? That is a tricky one. but he's a World Championship motorcycle racer, so I think if the door's open, then he's going to be going for it.
This could be unbelievable. What a climax here in race 1 of 3 here in Argentina. Of course, the first of 2 back-to-back rounds. We're off to Austin next week. Khairul Idham Pawi crosses the line and has 1 lap left of this Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. They're saying slow, and rightly so as well. He's got a 27-second lead pretty much. He's got 1 lap left. In second place across the line in a while will be Navarro and Noureddin. Here they are.
Just under 3 miles between a slice of Grand Prix motorcycle history for Khairul Idham Pawi.
And
he's
for Malaysia.
Absolutely faultlessly in this entire race. Navarro and Noureddin, they're over the line to complete the last lap. Brad Binder has just been in the fastest lap of the race as he desperately tries to cling on to that 4th place. He's under real pressure from Locatelli, Ono, Mir. John McPhee's just a fraction off that group. Joan Mir, fastest lap of the race, the first man into the 56s. All irrelevant, though, in terms of the victory battle, because it's still Khairul Idham Pawi who'll be down the back straight now. What, 9 corners to go?
This is the battle for 4th place. Locatelli at the moment has got back ahead of Brad Binder with Hiroki Ono there and Joan Mir. If you're Johan Stigefeld, Adam Noureddin's team manager, what do you say to him at the moment? Obviously, you can't say anything to him at all because he's out on circuit, but do you say go for it? He is. He's going for it. Number 7 here, going up the inside.
He's out of the slipstream of Jorge Navarro. He's got the line going into turn number 5. Brilliant move by Noureddin. Can he pull it up to the apex? He certainly can. Binder's got back to this group battling for 4th place. Locatelli, Ono and Joan Mir right beyond him. Here through turn number 6 comes Adam Noureddin. We're heading for a dramatic, a sensational Malaysian 1-2.
It's unbelievable. Take a bow. Khairul Idham Pawi. Here he comes. He's flying round. Oh, I don't want to speak too soon. I daren't say anything. He's coming through now, turn 12 and 13. This is a historic win, not just for Malaysia, but for this young rider. He's a rookie. It's his first full season. He's got 1 turn left. Take a bow and a round of applause and wobble, but a win for Khairul Idham Pawi in sensational style. But will it be a Malaysian 1-2? We have to wait a while, Matt.
Here comes Noureddin under real pressure from Navarro. Navarro's around the outside, coming down into turn number 13. Noureddin's having a look up the inside. He's got the inside line. Noureddin trying to make it a Malaysia 1-2. There'll be no way back for Navarro.
Oh, he's gone down!
Noureddin's gone down!
Oh, Navarro takes second place, but sadly Noureddin has fallen at the last. He's trying to remount, and Binder takes an unlikely podium, I think. It's a photo finish. Locatelli 4th. Oh, your heart bleeds for Adam Noureddin. The first podium for the rookie was just there, and he's pushing his bike along, trying to get across the line, but to no avail.
That is really cruel on Adam Noureddin. He is absolutely, and quite rightly so, devastated. He'd got the inside line. All he had to do, because there's no way through, it's so tight through turns 13 and 14, Navarro had no way to fight back, and he just got on the gas too quickly. He saw the glory, and the rear just stepped out on him. He was, what, 20 metres away from a historic Malaysian 1-2, away from his first podium finish. Pawi, what a victory for Khairul Idham Pawi. Navarro takes second place. The major benefactor out of all of that late drama was Brad Binder, the poleman, because he's on the podium. Andrea Locatelli, Joan Mir, Hiroki Ono, McPhee, Martin, Cornfile, Antonelli, Noureddin, Guevara, Quattararo, Herrera, and Ertley, your point scorers.
Oh, he's on the down. Oh, there was a bit of standing water there on a wet patch. Poor Noureddin, he'd done all the hard work and he fell with just 1 corner remaining, and you can do nothing other than feel so sorry for him. Here he is. Well, he's limping back. You just can't believe it, can you?
He's going to be absolutely distraught, that young man, because
wow,
he rode a brilliant race. He rode an absolutely brilliant race. Not quite as brilliant as that young man there, celebrating in some style with an impressive stand-up wheel on a Moto 3 bike. That was, for a rider in, what, his 3rd Grand Prix appearance, a rider who's made 300 Grand Prix appearances. That's how good it was, how measured it was, how mature it was in really tricky conditions. Absolutely incredible performance by Pawi.
Measured, yeah.